So this is Super Slime Massacre, and it was a 4-week project in which I needed to deliver the core systems and mechanics that typically constitute games in the RPG genre. So in order to do this, I wanted to deliver on a character progression system. The player essentially had two stats, hit points and attack, and these stats increased as the player gained XP and eventually leveled up. I wanted to indicate they were getting stronger, but I didn't have a lot of time to do a considerable amount of work in this area, so I wanted to just do a basic palette swap, a visual change to indicate that your armor and weapon were changing, as well as indicating with numeric values on screen what your current hit point and attack values were, so that you could easily keep track at a glance how powerful your character was becoming. And I also gave players upgrade points, which kind of funnels into player choice and agency. This is the next thing that I wanted to deliver on. And the player could choose essentially when to spend their upgrade points and how to spend their upgrade points. They had 3 different abilities. One was a shield, which you could put points into to increase the amount of time that you could keep the shield activated for, and decrease the cooldown at the rate that the shield actually regenerated between uses. They also had a whirlwind attack that significantly boosted their attack, but prevented them from blocking. This could be used effectively against a large amount of enemies, so long as the player was paying attention to when and where the enemies were attacking. Finally, was just a fireball attack that hit everything on the screen at once, and this wasn't really something that was upgradable, but it was more a way to sink in points after the player completely upgraded their shield and whirlwind, so that they didn't feel like their points were going to waste. The fireball actually ended up being really helpful. It was, for the amount of time that it took to implement it, added quite a bit to the game in terms of surviving the later difficulty. And then finally, I wanted to create a system where the game scaled with the player as the player got more powerful. So the difficulty ramps up, and while it's easy to play at first, it takes some time to master. You kind of have to adjust your playstyle based on your current situation, observe what the enemies are doing and act accordingly. Because there's no HP regen and you have to level up to regain HP, this could sometimes create interesting scenarios where the player needed to step back for a moment and block or use a fireball to get their XP bar up to the point where they could get close enough to level up and regain their hit points. I wanted the player to die frequently, but be interested in starting over again to try to beat their score. And finally, to touch on aesthetics a little bit, I chose an art style and animation as well as audio that were kind of simple to produce. They provided adequate content for sort of bolstering the mechanics and the theme and making it something more than just a game with abstract art and simple mechanics. So thanks for listening to Developer Commentary, and if you play the game, feel free to let me know what you think. Thanks.